My name is Natalie and I have an interview with one of the members of the band Sevendust on April 5th, 2013. The album that you guys just released recently is your 9th album to date. Did you ever think that this day would come?
I mean, you always kind of hoped that you'd have a career that would last that long, but I mean, back when we first started, no. I mean, we thought we'd have been lucky to have, a handful of records, maybe 2 or 3, and, have a nice little run with it. I mean, we had no idea we'd be, doing this 20 years down the road, so it's been a blessing, and to have such positive reaction and feedback every time we drop a new record has been, has been really, really cool, too.
Well, that's great to hear. The title of the album is, of course, Black Out the Sun, which I read online that was based on a dream. Can you tell me about that?
Well, no, actually I can't because it wasn't my dream. It was something that kind of came to LJ. It was just a phrase that kind of came to him. He had some kind of a dream that had something to do with that, and then they took that idea and that title and they kind of ran with it, and they kind of made it, Clint wrote it more about, his experience with losing his dad. He lost his dad last year, so, the Black Out the Sun theme kind of, played into what he was going to, eventually end up writing the whole song about. So, it was kind of a two-part thing, but yeah, I mean, honestly, that was something that just kind of came to LeJean in a dream one night.
All right. I also read online that this album is being compared to a lot of the earlier stuff. Why did you guys want to go back in that direction?
We didn't. We just kind of ended up there. We don't really sit down and say, okay, well, we're going to make a record that sounds like this or that or the other thing. We just, we make music together, and it sounds one way or it sounds another way, I hear some moments, the first 2 records, but I also hear a lot of Seasons. I hear a lot of Cold Day Memory. I hear some Alpha. I hear a lot of different things from all over our catalog, but that's just us being us. Not really sitting down and going, okay, we want to make a record that sounds like what we were doing in, 1999 or 2000. It just kind of happens. I think every record's got those moments that are kind of throwback moments and stuff, but back when we first started this thing, we would just get together in a room, all 5 of us, and start making noise, and that's kind of how this record was written. Same idea, same concept, same basic setup. So I'm sure that probably had something to do with the way that it ended up sounding. But it's always cool to have people that compare you to stuff that you did in the past. I mean, that's kind of what we've always tried to do is take what our sound is, just make the natural evolution to our career.
Your last album, Cold Day Memory, was quite a success. When it came to writing this new one, did you feel any pressure upon you guys to do it?
No, not really. I mean, after you do it 8 times, I think you kind of, you just kind of get to the point where you realize that, you need to make it for the right reasons. Don't make it because you're chasing a number. You want to try to better what you did before, or, whatever. I mean, Cold Day Memory did well, but, we've had other records that have performed better. So, I mean, we've got a lot of different records in our career, so, at the end of the day, I think we basically just go in and we make the best record that we can make, and if we're happy with it, when we walk out of the studio, that's the ultimate goal, because we're there's 5 of us, and there's 5 very distinct opinions in this band on how we want a record to, feel and sound and all that good stuff. So when we can all get on the same page, that's the biggest success. Whether it sells 1 copy or whether it sells, 1 million copies at the end of the day, as long as we're proud of it. I guess after you make 9 records, you kind of just desensitize yourself to the fact that there's certain things that aren't in your control. We don't really have control over how it's going to perform. We always, hope, you cross your fingers and say your prayers that, people are going to like it, because you want people to, react positively to, to something that you've done. But it's always really, really cool when it actually happens. Cold Day Memory was a nice, chart debut. We sold a lot of copies of that, and, this time around we basically did, better in light of the fact that, there's a constant, constantly getting harder and harder to sell CDs, so to speak. Most people are getting their music through Spotify and the internet, internet-based stuff, online downloading and things like that, whether it be legal or illegal. Most people are getting it through the computer, so it's cool. In a day and age where you can barely give one of these damn things away, we're still selling them, so it's kind of nice.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
It's been 3 years since Cold Day Memory had came out. Why such a long gap between, album releases?
Well, it's not really a long gap. I mean, in the world of Sevendust, it may seem like a long gap because we usually do a 2-year tour, take a 2-week break, hop back in the studio, make a record, and do it all over again. That's been our MO for 10 years, and all we did this time was release a record, do a 2-year tour, and then we took a break. So for us to take any kind of time off whatsoever is considered highly unusual when, Guns N' Roses took 11 years to make a record, and they were still a band. So I consider it a major success for us to take a year off and make the record in the same year and have it come out, It was just a conscious decision. We've been doing this, touring-wise for 16 years, and it gets to the point where the band needs a break, the brand needs a break, the fans need a break. Everyone just needed a break. We had done it. Cold Day Memory was great, and we had a good time touring it, but we toured it, and then we toured it, and then we toured it some more, and then we toured it some more after that, and it was kind of the point where it was like, you know what? We've overstayed our welcome here. We need to unplug the machine and really, really recharge it. I think for the band, it was almost at the point where we kind of needed to miss it. We needed to take it away from ourselves. Just so that we could kind of prove to ourselves that it was as important as we thought that it was. You always kind of in the back of your mind know that it's, something that's really, really important to you, but you don't know if it is until you don't have it. So, by summertime, all 5 of us were chomping at the bit to get back in the studio. So, for us, it was something that we needed to do. I think it gave a little bit of a jump start to the record. I think it definitely got us, charged up and excited. And it got the fans charged up and excited, too, because we weren't coming around every, 2 or 3 months. That's kind of been our deal is like on most tour cycles, like every, 3 months or so tops, we'll be, rolling through the town. And we do that for 2 years, and then we do it over again. So when we don't do it on that schedule, people start freaking out.
Oh, man. Are you satisfied with how everything turned out on the album?
Yeah. As far as production and all that stuff goes, but like I said, those are the things that you can control. We finished the record back in, basically the first week in November with the mix and everything. So we've been sitting on this thing for, about 6 months. And, a lot of things that you learn in 6 months is the fact that there's a lot that you just do not have control over. You can spread the word as much as you can, play as many shows as you can, play as hard as you can, but it's going to do what it's going to do, So we kind of watch the single, we kind of, pay attention to where the, where the pulse is on that, where it's going, how it's moving, and, so far so good, but it's kind of one of those weird things. It's like, in some ways, it's an old record because we've been living with it for 7 months, and in other ways, it's a brand new record because the world just got to hear it last week. So, it's kind of a mixed emotional thing. It's like, oh, yeah, that old record. Oh, you mean the brand new one? Yeah, I'm sorry. So for us, it's kind of like, wow, we're kind of back in mode of the here and the now and the new record all over again. But yeah, we're 2 weeks in, so this is the very beginning, and we always get a nice little jump out before the record starts. So it's cool. It's been great so far.
Great. Were there any songs that didn't make it on the record that we'll probably see later on, or no?
Nope. Not one song. We used pretty much everything that we had. We were in there for 31 days, and I think we actually we took 1 day a week off. And I think we had 1 week where we had 2 days off because the studio had something to do. So 28 of the days. And, yeah, I mean, we pretty much got in and got out, you know. I mean, there's never a shortage of riffs or ideas or, you know, basic demos that are always laying around, you know, for us to jump on something and grab. But, you know, as far as what we did in the studio, we kind of did it all in there together. Mm-hmm. So whatever we did there, we used, you know. There wasn't anything that we did there that we didn't finish, you know. So it's kind of cool, you know, nice, tight. We, you know, got the 13 songs in, and we got them out, and we said, all right, cool, you know, we got it done in the amount of time that we said we were going to do it. But, you know, the only downside is we don't have a whole lot of, you know, leftover stuff other than just demos.
What are your expectations for this release?
What are my expectations?
Yeah.
I don't have any, really. I mean, you know, I could sit here and say, oh, yeah, I want to sell 10 million copies, but it's just not realistic. You know, I hope it does well. I hope people, you know, I hope our core fans absolutely love it. I hope we make some new fans along the way. But, you know, I don't really put expectations on records so much. Now, on the tour itself, mm-hmm. you know, I expect that this tour is going to take us probably around the United States at least 2 or 3 times. We've got plans to go to Australia. We should be hitting Europe at some point, if not late this year, maybe next year. So, you know, as far as the tour itself, you know, that part of the album goes, there's a lot of expectations. I mean, we're going to be out there. We're going to be out there for a while. But, you know, the rest of it is stuff that we don't really have a whole lot of control over. So, you know, I'm just happy that, you know, we're having such good shows out here and people are reacting so strongly to the record right now. I mean, it's, you know, it's a blessing to be able to do this as long as we've been doing it. And, you know, still have fans really, really like our new music, so it's cool.
Well, that's always good to know and hear, right?
Right.
Can you tell me, how did the band get its name, Sevendust, and does it have a meaning behind it?
No, not really. I mean, it was just 2 words that Vinny had put together. You know, he was just walking through his garage, and he looked over, and we have a pesticide in the South that's called Steven. You can get it in a, you know, liquid form or a dust form, or I think even a tablet form. And it was the dust form, and he said Sevendust, and we spelled it, put it together, and that's pretty much it, you know.
Cool. Well, I never heard the story of how you guys got the name, so I had to ask.
Right. Yeah.
So what can the fans expect to see from you guys as far as the rest of this year goes?
A lot of shows. You know, everyone's asking, you know, when's this date going to get added? When's this date going to get added? I don't have a definitive answer to any of that. All I know is I get dates each day, and, you know, we're out here and we're in the middle of them. So, you know, for anyone who's inquiring about dates and stuff like that, check out our Facebook page, because that's usually got most of the up-to-date stuff. The website and Facebook page has got both of them. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to be busy for a minimum of 18 months. You know, 18 months from today, I'll still be touring this album. So we're going to be going for a while, and we will definitely be to whoever's town. You know, people have been asking.
All right. And what do you hope for 2013?
What do I hope for 2013? Cheaper gas prices and higher ticket sales. No, just for us, you know, I mean, to have a good time touring the record. I mean, we're just getting going on this thing. You know, it's a release year for Sevendust, which is cool. You know, we get one every now and again, and we got one again. So, you know, 2013 is you know, our year for the new album and the new tour. So we're just excited to be back at it again for sure.